Hello,
Hello,
welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Jo
and I'm Andy.
and we're here for this, but we're not pointing because it's...
We're here for this wall. We're not on location this time.
Our location makes us sound professional.
On location.
Far from professional.
Very much.
So last night we went to watch Richard III at the Playhouse in Liverpool. We didn't take anything with us to film a little we're here for this.
It was a last minute booking.
It was, to be fair. I only booked it on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, something like that. And it was the opening night as well.
Yeah, and that was purely accidental. Basically, I was looking for something to do on Wednesday night because we thought we were going to be in Liverpool. Was looking through all the different theatres and whatnot, and then saw Richard III and said to Andy, do you fancy this on Thursday, because it's Good Friday the next day, we don't have to get up early.
I completely forgot it was a bank holiday.
It's a treat for you.
Yeah, it was.
So last night, from assuming that I edit this and it all goes up on Good Friday, we just went to watch it.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
It was good. It was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this is our first Shakespeare play.
It's our first straight Shakespeare together.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been and seen a few things before.
I never have.
And
we have seen A Comedy of Errors, which is an interpretation of a Shakespeare work, but this is sort of oh yeah, linked to yeah. But this is our first straight Shakespeare.
That's the easiest way I can think to describe it. It's literally true to
the original text.
Yeah. So, it had, I don't want to say messed around with because that's the wrong phrase, but there were some bits where they had put music to some of the text.
Yeah.
And they'd changed where it was set.
Yeah, so there was a theming and styling to the overall play.
But
was...
it was still true to the text.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know the story of Richard III, it is literally about King Richard III. He is the last Plantagenet king of England, famous for doing in his
family.
Yeah, it's just his
Full
family.
Stop. Family.
And it's basically a story of King Richard III written much, much closer to the time that Richard III actually happened than we are right now.
Yeah.
That is the long and short of it. Surprisingly, there were people in the audience who didn't know the story of Richard III and in the interval were curiously Googling who Richard III was, which I didn't think I went to a particularly top tier school.
I definitely did not.
But we know who Richard III was.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. So
that was a weird.
But that's it's just one of those things, isn't it? I suppose mixed in with the Shakespearean language, it's probably a little bit confusing, but
yeah, maybe.
I can sort of understand it.
Yeah. So the play starred Adjoa Andoh, who you probably may know from Bridgerton.
I don't.
I don't know who she plays in Bridgerton. I realised I could look it up, but we've never watched Bridgerton.
And it's also worth noting that she is the director.
Is she?
Yes. And Jo's going to now Google that because she doesn't believe me.
Oh well, she is as well.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
She directed
and starred as Richard III.
Yeah, or Richard of Gloucester.
And she was amazing.
Yes, brilliant act.
Just so she played it as though you can see Richard mental downfall.
Yeah.
Of
the slow plan that forms, the process of pushing it forward and doing some not so great things to the family, to the point of getting to power, then becoming ultimately paranoid that everyone else is out to get them. Because
they've been out to get everyone.
Yeah.
Which you can totally see happening.
Yeah.
She was just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Another standout character that we thought was the Lord of Salisbury, was it?
Buckingham.
Buckingham? Why do I keep saying Salisbury?
Don't know. Literally, as soon as
We had a
walked
conversation.
out-
We had a conversation with this before, and then also last night as well.
As we were walking out back to the car park, and you literally went through every single county.
Is there a Salisbury in there?
I don't know.
Am I having a moment? Do
last
I need help? Am I Richard III? Am I going insane?
Last night you went through. It felt like every county of the UK, and in the end I had to just go Buckingham.
Okay.
You're like, that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah. So, the Lord of Buckingham, Duke of Buckingham,
Lord of Buckingham, Joseph Kloska.
Joseph Kloska. He was another fantastic actor and really played into the role very well. No, it's a thing of you can play a role, but it's putting the emotion behind it, and I think that's what they both did so very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. The actual setting for this, rather than being set in London and the Tower of London, they moved it to be in Somerset. So everyone had West Country accents, which they all did a really good West Country accent, unlike me, who will now embarrass myself by going Somerset. They were all really good. That's a tough accent to do.
Yeah.
Now, I know that Adjoa Andoh is from Bristol, so
Probably comes easier.
yeah,
I won't be surprised if the other actors and actresses are also
yeah, maybe.
from the area as well, making it easy for them.
Or they're just really good at accents.
They're just really good. Full stop.
Yeah. The Tower of London was like a tree that was in the middle of the stage the entire time, and everyone was dressed in sort of a take on a Morris dancing outfit.
Yeah, sort of felt like it. Yeah.
All the weapons were the sticks that people usually use for Morris dancing. That is my interpretation of sticks for Morris dancing.
Morris dancing sticks.
One thing that I really liked was they had this almost shadow puppet effect, wasn't it? Of meshing that you could see people behind it, but it was just their shadows.
Yeah. So the back of the stage was like a big mesh panel, and then they had lighting behind it that you could switch on and off. So they could, like you said, do shadow puppet actions behind there, which was really good.
Yeah, at the start they had people parading behind and who came out, and then they had a maypole bit where Richard III gets tied up in the maypole. But then anytime there was a murder, they would go behind the screens, and that was how they would show chopping heads off. So
it was difficult to show somebody's head being chopped off in the centre of the stage. So
yeah,
if you do it behind as a shadow behind the scenes, then it makes it a lot easier to sort of act that through.
Yeah, so you'd sort of see the shadow of the person with obviously their head on, and then
the axe just go.
The axe going, and
as the lights go.
So yeah, it was very, very cleverly done. I really enjoyed that. I also strangely enjoyed that it was Morris dancing for the fight scene.
Yeah.
That probably sounds really insane of Morris dancing fight scene, but it was, and it worked.
I just think the whole sort of West Country theme sort of worked really well for it, and at the end with the deceased lords and so on coming back as almost pagan symbols, pagan. I'm not sure what the name is for them, but it's a pagan Morris dancing thing of showing the dead.
Is it?
Yeah, I vaguely remember it being name here.
I thought it was a really, really good production. Definitely would recommend going to see it. It's on, I think, until the 25th of April.
Yeah.
At the Playhouse in Liverpool. We will leave the details down below. I think we paid £25 per ticket plus booking fee, which feels like a steal for 3 hours of theatre.
Yes.
Good.
But if you're going to see it in Liverpool, I'm sure they'll probably do it other places at a later date. But if you're going to see it in Liverpool, take caution. Yeah. Those chairs have seen much better days, and 3 hours is can be quite painful on the old derriere.
My butt felt it. Oh, I think also worth a mention, although I don't know what her name was, the person playing Hastings wasn't at the production that we saw. I don't know what had happened. They weren't there that night. So there was somebody else, and I don't know what her name was, but she stepped in, and our assumption is that she is an understudy for Richard III.
Yeah.
Because all the lines that she had as Hastings were Richard III was on the stage, she knew.
Yeah.
Like off the top of her head.
No prompting or anything like that.
There was one scene where it's basically Hastings' key scene.
Yeah.
That she had to have a script in her hand. But strangely, having the script in her hand didn't detract.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know how she was doing it, because she was literally like, imagine my phone is the script. She'd be talking and then she'd like look for sort of 2 seconds, know exactly where she was on the page, and have the next like 4 lines from just a quick glance.
It wasn't even 2 seconds. It was literally, you'd see her eyes just go blah 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 blah, flick down, look back up again, and it's like how?
Yeah.
How?
It kind of
amazing.
And the thing is, the scene that it was in, it made sense for them to have papers.
They were talking about the coronation of the new king, which was whatever of
Edward,
one of the kids anyway. Yeah. But talking about the coronation of them, so it almost made sense that they would have some parchment or document in their hands. It didn't really detract from anything. It didn't look odd. It just sort of worked.
Yeah.
It's only after a while that you realise why she was holding the papers in her hand.
Yeah, that's it. So I didn't actually realise that the papers weren't part of the scene until she stood up and moved to the other side, and it was the side that was closer to us that I could see there was like a little page marker on one page, and I was like, oh, that's the script. Like, if she'd never come closer, I wouldn't have even realised that was actually the script.
Yeah.
So, like, kudos to her for...
It also made for a fun scene as well in the middle when they've got a prosthetic head of the person who plays the part normally, and obviously does not match the person who's currently playing it.
I think Adjoa Andoh described the person who was stepping into the role as Hastings as a beautiful black woman that you need to imagine is an old white guy with a beard.
Yeah.
So they bring out this prosthetic head that's supposed to be like, look, we've got Hastings' head. And obviously, as Andy said, they've made the prosthetic to look like the actor. So it's an old white guy with a beard. But we've just watched she was completely right. She is a beautiful black woman who went off the stage to be beheaded.
To which the audience gave a hearty little laugh when it happened.
Yeah.
And you could see some of the cast smirking as well because they knew it was going to happen.
I mean, that is ultimately why they came out before the start and just sort of
pre-warned you.
One thing that did creep me out, one of the 2 princes is played by a dummy.
Yeah.
And it's a dummy that they like... It gets on people's backs. And
is it a marionette? Is it or marionette? What?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to say marinara sauce, and that's not right.
That's definitely not right. But it's a dummy. And three of the cast sort of play the dummy.
Yeah, and like the older of the 2 princes does the lines that the
for the younger prince.
By sort of just looking away and then moving the mouth. Now, I am a kid of the 80s/90s who read a lot of Goosebumps and Night of the Living Dummy. It left an impression. I'm not great with dummies.
Yeah.
And I wasn't great with that one. It freaked me out. I was not comfortable. I was kind of happy when they went to their deaths. Because it meant the dummy was no more. I think it was the climbing on people's backs as piggybacks.
Yeah.
And that was what did it. I was like, no, I don't like that.
Bar that, it was a brilliant performance,
Yeah.
and the cast are fantastic and played it incredibly well, and it is definitely worth seeing. And
100%
it's
worth seeing, yeah.
and it's in Liverpool till
I
whenever
think I said the 25th of
Yeah.
April.
the 25th of April. So go and check it out if you've got some spare time to go and see it, because it's worth the time.
Definitely. Do you want to do a star rating out of 5?
I am going to give it a 4 out of 5.
I am also going to give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was fantastic, and I've got like a little ranking of Shakespearean performances.
Okay.
So, Comedy of Errors more or less took top spot last time. The Othello production that I actually saw at the Playhouse many years ago, that was set in World War One, is still top spot. But that's better than all the productions I've seen of like Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet and things like that. That's now my firm third, and second if we're going off just played straight.
Great. Go and check it out.
Check it out. Details are down below in the description box. If you do go and check it out, let us know in the comments down below what you thought, and we'll be back with more reviews, because we've got a lot booked in.
We've got more booked in.
A lot. I think, off the top of my head, the next review is Musicals Rock at the Bridgewater Hall in Manchester.
Now
off the top of my head.
Now that would have been a great place for this show. Those comfy chairs.
That's all you want, isn't it?
Oh, a comfy chair is all you can ask for.
It's true. And on that, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.